Hi, everybody. It's Christy Sloan here at My Artful Adventures, and I just wanted to show you something quick today. I won't take very much of your time, but I wanted to show you how you can use something to finish. You don't always have to try and do everything yourself. Take advantage of things that are out there. So today, we are going to use a stencil to finish up a cute little thing on a snowman that I've been painting. So let's change the view. I'm glad that you're here and hope that your new year has started off in a great way. So let's get started. Here's a little snowman that I have been working on. And I actually was finished with him, but I really thought he needed something else. And I decided I'd like to put something up on his hat band. And so I thought, since I wanted to be able to use him for not just around, winter holidays, Christmas and, that time of year, that I wanted him to be able to, go through the winter. So I didn't really want to, use like poinsettia or something else that would be in his hat band. I thought that would be cute. But what I did was I decided I would cut a stencil. And so I measured how big that I wanted the snowflake to be, and I went to Cricut Design Space and found a couple of snowflakes because I wasn't sure which I was going to use. So these are the ones that I came up with. So there's this one and then this one. And I actually decided that I would use this one because I like the straight lines. I think they go better with that zigzag pattern across this hat band. So that's what we're going to use. So I'm going to place it right here. And all we're going to use is some white paint. And I'm going to like position this so that I get as much the most bang for my buck on here. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of repositionable tape to hold it down while I work on it. You could use washi tape, just something to hold your stencil in place. And then I'm just using a little bit of white acrylic paint. Now this is Deco Americana. That's what I'm going to use today. And just a little bit. Now the key to doing stencils, I'm going to put this right here so you can see. We want to tap this on, and I'm just using this cheapy little sponge thing. You could use a stencil brush, or you could just use a regular paint brush, a little sponge, makeup sponge, whatever you want to use. But the key is don't sop up your tool, whatever you're using, with so much paint that you're going to get it under the stencil. You don't want it to seep under the stencil. So this is kind of soaking it up really good. Otherwise, sometimes what you need to do is you tap it on here and then you kind of tap it off a little so you don't have too much in a place. So now I'm just going to tap this on. I'm not sure what kind of coverage that we're going to get, but my point is, don't be afraid to try to use something that's already out there. You don't have to try and reinvent the wheel for everything you do. Don't feel because like you've used a stencil on something that you've cheated. There's no such thing as cheating in art. Just go ahead and do what you want to with it and make it your own. So I'm not sure. I might have to put on another layer in here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop right there because I don't want that. I'm going to turn the volume down for just a second, and I'm going to use my heat gun and dry this real quick. So hang on just a second. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more on top of that now. Now, if you had a plan and you knew you were going to put a snowflake in the first place, you could certainly draw your snowflake out and not paint anything there in the first place. And maybe I don't really care if a little bit of the hat band still shows through because, snowflakes aren't just that thick. But I think this is going to do it. I don't see any more right here in the middle where it would be prone to, and the black looks like it's covering up pretty good. So I think we're just going to leave it at that. And then once you're done, you can just be careful when you lift your stencil off. And so there we've got a little snowflake. Now if I want to, I can go around with a liner brush and maybe, you know, finish the edges off. I did notice that I really wanted to get a little bit more of this snow look along the edge of his hat. So I'm just going to tap a little bit more here. I kind of wanted it all the way over. And so you just kind of pat it on there, like it's kind of piled up a little bit. And that's all you got to do to make it look like it's got a little snow, like he's standing out in the snow and he's got a little more. I'll put a little bit more here. There's a little bit of black sticking out there. But like I said, don't be afraid to add other things that are available. You don't have to know how to do everything to get started on doing a craft or project or painting. It's a process. And I want you to try new things, and I want you to have your own artful adventures. And so I think that, you know, if I go in here a little bit closer, you can see it's a little fuzzy around the edge, but I think that I don't think that that's a real problem. And I think actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around it when it's dry with a little bit of black. I don't have any black here. And another thing that you could do, don't be afraid to use, like, just because it's a painting doesn't mean that you can't use other things on it. Let it be mixed media if you want. Use a black pen to line it. You know, don't be afraid to do that. But it does look like it needs a little bit of something to make that stand out a little bit more, especially over the top here. You can't really see that little line. And if you remember, that was kind of a little, I mean, it just looks better if you can see the whole outline. So I'm probably going to go back in with that and line that. So it's still actually too wet to do that right now. So I'll come back and do that. And so that's really about all that I had for you today. I'm not going to keep you very long, but don't be afraid to try new things, and don't be afraid to try the things that you've got, or, you know, add stencils to things. We all use, you know, if you have a project kit or something like that, you know, you can certainly change it up. And it's the same with painting. If you've got a painting and you want to add something different and it's really not your forte, if you've got a stencil, grab it and stick it on there. Just make sure that, you know, whatever you're using underneath is dry, and then, you know, don't put too much paint over your stencil so that it sinks in. Just tap, tap, tap like we were talking about. I ended up doing some line work with my Uniball Vision fine point pen. It is my go-to pen for line work. I like the way that it goes on, and it's water resistant when it is finished. It's just a pen that you can pick up in office supply areas of stores, and I will link it below and you can see exactly what it is. But I really like the way that it turned out. And then, as you can see, I went ahead and I put a little bit more detail in the center of the snowflake. I just put some paint on with a tiny detail brush, some little dots there, and a little bitty star. And I thought it made it a little bit more airy looking, like a snowflake. So that's all I've got for you today. And you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.